on the screen.
Ciao.
I must say good evening, but I have to say good morning also, because yeah. So with us tonight, producer Andrea Warren, who also worked on other Disney Pixar classics like Cars 3. And director Enrico Casarosa, Academy Award nominee in 2011 for La Luna.
Hi, everybody. Ciao.
Enrico, my first question is for you. LUCA celebrates the Italian Riviera. So what does it mean for you?
Oh, yeah, it's been this crazy honor and privilege to be able to tell this story and take people to where I grew up. I feel like the pleasure of a host. So it's like, oh, you have to come with me and come see these places, come taste the food, of course, as you will understand well in France. If you ask us where to go, right, it will probably be a list of many places where to eat food. So a wonderful, wonderful honor and joy to bring you know, where I grew up to the world. So now it's kind of playing host to the rest of the world. It's been so joyful, and I feel so fortunate to be able to do that and make my culture and the small towns in the Riviera shine in this movie.
So you say it's a joy, it's an honor, but is it also a little bit intimidating because there is famous Italian filmmaker who talked about, who made film about their country. I'm thinking of Federico Fellini and his village of Rimini. So is this intimidating or a challenge to do something like that also?
Yeah, I thought of it as a wonderful inspiration when you bring Fellini up. You're absolutely right. Like I Vitelloni, it was all about you know, these men that wouldn't leave Rimini. We by the way have some, you know, train that we actually model after the Vitelloni. But so we try and take more inspiration from the amazing filmmakers like him and De Sica, all the neorealism, Visconti. There's just so many beautiful movies that we actually just, you know, I love and that we were inspired by. You know, there's a sense of the dreamlike moments in Fellini that I always loved, that I think you might find some moments of kinship within Luca.
Andrea, for many people, the job of a producer in a film like this is a little bit a mystery. So it's unclear. Let's say unclear. So tell us, how did you divide the labor between the two of you? Did you both make the decisions together, or?
Yeah, a lot of things we decide together. I kind of described my role as sort of when Pixar and Disney say, we want a film by Enrico to come out on this day, it's my job to make sure that happens. And so there's just a lot of pieces, as we all know, in filmmaking, to that puzzle. And really, it's my job to make sure that we get pieces of the project in motion, because they kind of stack up and almost go through an assembly line, you know, each sequence. So, you know, so Enrico and I definitely communicate about what pieces are ready and how we get them going. And then there's a lot of the creative decisions are in all Enrico. But I definitely give my input. I'm in all those meetings with him. We're watching all those sequences together. We both, you know, want to hold it to a very high standard. And so, yeah, it's been wonderful to work with Enrico. We're definitely partners. We specialize in different parts of the production, but at the end of the day, we're in it together, and we make sure we both feel great about what's moving forward.
My next question is for the both of you. This is a film that is an ode to childhood and the friendships that change us. So, are there echoes of your personal friendships in the film?
Yeah, I guess I can start. Yeah, there's definitely a lot I took from my experience. My best friend I met when I was 12. His name really is Alberto, so we got the same name. Um, and so these summers we spent on the Riviera felt like the perfect setting. So we were in this setting. No, we weren't born fish or anything like that, but we definitely felt like a little bit like losers, and so this feeling of being outsiders was something I wanted to talk about. But even more so, the way he pulled me into some adventures was my memory, and it made me ask, would I be the same person had I not met him? Would I be where I am had I not met him? So it really was an interesting wanting to dig at what friendships do for us finding our identity.
Yeah, I would say my experience was less specific to the film. I didn't get to jump off the cliffs of the Riviera growing up. I'm from the middle of America where there's a lot of farms. But I definitely relate to having a best friend as a kid about that same age. And one of the things in the film that I just love is this moment when the character says, "Was that too much?" To this other friend. And the friend says, "No." And I think to me, that's this great part of growing up, coming of age, and figuring out who you are because you find your people, like with those people, you're not too much. You're geeking out about the same things and you're connecting. And to me, that's a part of building that confidence that ultimately helps you become, who you're meant to be.
And, Enrico, you talked about Federico Fellini a few minutes ago, and you expressed your project as an homage to Fellini's movie, but also to Hayao Miyazaki.
Mm-hmm.
What artistic and cultural aspects from the works of Miyazaki were inspiring for you?
Yeah, with Miyazaki, for me, often becomes like, how hasn't he not influenced me? It's almost the question. I grew up with his cartoons. We watched as many. I've shared this with French friends, and I think we have a similar thing. In the 80s, we grew up with so much Japanese animation on TV in Italy. So his Future Boy Kona was like one that was the first one that really I felt there was something special there. So following his career, what I absolutely fell in love with is the magic that I feel he does and he taps in is this sense of wonder toward nature that I also really, really love. And this sense that, so many of his movies really going to the point of view of kids, of young kids. And he has this ability to make us feel the magic of those years. So that is something that I absolutely love, and especially on a movie that wanted to go into the world of kids like ours. I certainly bring a lot of inspiration from that. I have, as many of us through the years, been just loving his work, studying his work. I was able to show him La Luna at Ghibli, a few years back, sitting by him. So I had to pinch myself that day many, many times. And so, yeah, there's just a lot in my DNA that has been influenced by his amazing work. Even the way even the way I love to draw, there's something about pencil and watercolor that he does in his amazing image boards that I absolutely, try to be inspired by. And it's the comic book approach is certainly something I also came from comics, so that's another thing that I really enjoy about his work.
I'm not asking you to spoil the film, but are there any references to other movies in LUCA?
Yeah, we took this wonderful opportunity to bring a lot of 1950s Italy in songs, music, in design, our Vespas, as you can imagine, and our even our little Fiat 500, 500, or the Ape, the three-wheel scooter. So there's something about those years that is so beautiful. In the same way, I felt about cinema, right? The 1950s cinema. So I can tell you there's a lot of lovely little homages that we put in there from the signage, because all the signs in town are a wonderful opportunity for us to make these little references and Easter eggs or love letters to many, many things. Sometimes we enjoy a silly pun, but most of the times there's a little bit of connection to writers, directors, and we have a little cinema in town, so you will see some posters that are these wonderful little, hopefully, if some of them we call them deep cuts because you might have had to seen some, off the beaten track Italian movies from the 50s, but I would think you really might enjoy some of those.
Can we expect Easter eggs in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, answer that one, yeah.
I'll hand it over to you, Enrico, but I think, that's part of animation that is so interesting. It's kind of overwhelming in a way because you have to make every single thing that's in the frame. But at the same time, you get to make every single thing that's in the frame, and so you can make it full of like Italian references, like Enrico's talking about, as well as some of the ones that we usually do in Pixar films. The Pizza Planet truck kind of takes a more Italian form. You definitely have to look for it. I think we have a Luxo ball, some other fun things to look for. But Enrico, what do you think are some of the other fun things to be on the lookout
I think, yeah, those are two good ones to try and look. They're pretty well hidden. And yeah, I think most of the others are a little bit, there's a little bit of a call to Finding Nemo, and that's so I would recommend you don't get off your seat too quickly during the credits. Things like that. Yeah.
Enrico, Andrea, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
It's a great gift. It's a great gift for our audience to have you with us tonight. I want to offer you a gift, so may I ask to the technique to open the light in the theater, and I will show you your audience.
Oh,
That is awesome.
thank you.
That is amazing.
That's beautiful.
I don't know if you can hear us, but we so wish we could be there with you.
Oh, absolutely.
I still remember this crowd for La Luna being there that night. It was very, very special night. I so wish we could be there in person, but this is pretty close. So I don't know if you could hear me, but I was saying I still remember La Luna being right there in that theater with you. We wish we could be there.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Ciao.
Bye-bye.